How to write product documentation the usual way. Step 1, reach the point where you understand enough about the product. Step 2, create a doc and start writing. Step 3, fall into a rabbit hole of boredom and question whether you chose the right career. Step 4, accept defeat and return to the document until you can finally say, it's done. Unless there was a video on YouTube sharing the guidelines to help you suffer less when writing product documentation. Can you imagine? All right, we're doing this. All right, so what type of documents are we talking about? Product documentation can be a very broad term because it encompasses all the documents related to a project. The documentation can be used internally, so for the members of a company, or they can go to an external audience. So that's going to be articles and help guides for the end user. As product designers or product managers, you're more likely to be focusing on internal documents. So these are the type of documents that we're going to be covering in this video. Internal documentation can support the development cycle. So that can be the product's architecture, design specs, feature requirements, or they can also be aimed to the stakeholders. So in this case, this document is going to include more details about the business side. So impact, revenue expectations, and etc. Designers will often be in charge of design specs and feature requirements. And those documents, they're going to be delivered to engineers to help them understand the functionality of the product and also specific details about the user interface. When it comes to product managers, they literally can tackle all the product documents under the sun. But a very common one that you're going to hear about is the PRD, the Product Requirements Doc. Of course, the type of documents that you're going to be in charge of doing and also what's going to be included in each document is really going to vary from company to company. And how can you craft good product documentation? Well, the first thing is for you to find out who is this document for and why they need it. The way you're going to deliver the content of a document for an engineer is completely different from the content that someone on the C-level is going to receive. For a stakeholder, it's going to be metrics, impact, why it is a good investment to build this. As if the document is for an engineer, it's most likely to be covering the specs, what needs to be done, and how things are going to work. And how I create product documentation. I created this PRD template that I use on a regular basis whenever we're going to start working on a new feature. Of course, I'll be sharing the link in the description. One thing that I want to highlight is that you can take this template, but make sure to talk to your peers to see what they need the most. For example, once I spoke to my engineers, one of them said, Debs, a prototyping speaks more than a 10-page doc. With that in mind, I made sure to always provide the prototype on Figma and also add some hint cards on Figma explaining the functionality of the application, of the interfaces that they're seeing. I personally like to pair the design specs that I provide on Figma with the prototype, with the PRD, because no matter what their personal preferences are, they can get a clear understanding on what it is that we're building, how things are going to work in detail if they go to the PRD, or just in a faster way if they want to hop to Figma. Well, and that's how you write useful product documentation that your peers are actually going to read and consider when building stuff. This was an overview. So if you wanted me to dive deeper into one of those documents, make sure to let me know in the comments. If you like this video, I recommend you watch my Figma file organization tutorial next. Something tells me you like to keep things organized, and so do I. Catch you in the next one. Happy designing!